Today I messed up by giving myself a huge hickey on the forehead with a YouTube buddy. That's right, we're going to be calling it a YouTube buddy in honor of the great Michael Reeves. So, this literally just happened. My girlfriend and I decided to spice up our sex life by ordering some toys online. The main piece being a veiny 7-inch silicone YouTube buddy. So the package gets delivered while I'm at home and my girlfriend's at work. I unbox said YouTube buddy to check it out. The thing's astonishingly lifelike with a big suction cup. So I stick it on the coffee table. Yep, works as advertised. This is when the idiot man light bulb goes off over my head. I stick it smack dab in the middle of my forehead and sit there, laughing maniacally like the idiot YouTube buddy headed unicorn I am, before I snap a picture and send to my girlfriend. By then, I realised my idiocy had reached record levels when I went to yank it off. The sucker was really on there, so I yank pretty hard before realising what was going on. I stop and peel the edges, and it comes off, but my fears had come true. I look in the camera again, and I've got a huge purple hickey about 3 inches in diameter right in the middle of my forehead. It also hurts a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I once ordered a strap-on as like a gag gift for a stag do and did exactly the same thing except for it wasn't on my head, but I did run around the house laughing maniacally with this big 7-inch black YouTube buddy. So yeah, I know where this guy's coming from. We're wired for it. So I'm guessing you're new around here because my videos get like 40 views, but you know, we're working on it. So if you are, welcome. I'm Miles, this is Tall Tales, and today we're going to be looking at some Today I Messed Up. Oh, and I'm really sorry if my voice is all wacky, I've got a cold. Today I messed up by watching my neighbours fight whilst I was eating popcorn. So I'm a bit of a soccer fan, and today 2 big local teams had a game. So naturally, I was watching the match in my living room. Little did I know, there was another match going on in my neighbour's house. About 10 minutes into the game, I started hearing screams coming from the house across the street. Between the game and the distance between us, I couldn't really distinguish any words, so I just raised the volume of my TV and kept watching. During halftime, I got a bit hungry and decided to make myself some popcorn. For those of you who don't watch sports, halftimes tend to be a bit long and just a bunch of commercials, so I lowered the volume on the TV as I microwaved some popcorn. By this point, my neighbours had been fighting for about 30 minutes, and just as I take the popcorn out of the microwave, I hear some doors slamming. Curiosity got the better of me, so I went to the balcony to see what was the scope of the fight, in case I had to call the cops or something. Now I have 2 dogs, so I didn't want to leave my popcorn bag unattended on the couch, so I brought it with me. So here I am, staring from my balcony at the 40-year-old married couple who took the fight outside. From the looks of it, the wife had kicked the husband out of the house. By now, I could tell what the fight was about. Nothing too dramatic. As to add spice to the story, or so I thought, suddenly, she slapped him hard in the face, which made him turn as I gasped dramatically, which made them both look up into my balcony. Now try and see this from their perspective. They've been fighting for over 30 minutes, yelling and slamming doors, and just as they took the fight outside, they see this gay gossip-loving neighbour with a big bag of popcorn looking from their balcony. This got them furious. As if defying the laws of physics, their faces turned redder than they already were, and they both took their frustration out on me, yelling all sorts of things. I honestly decided to take one for the team and kept putting popcorn into my mouth as they were yelling at me, because it seemed to stop their fight and join them as a twisted, dysfunctional couple once again. They both flipped the finger at me as they walked inside. "Can you believe this frickin' guy?" The wife screamed at her husband as he patted her back and closed the door. When I got inside, I was too busy laughing to enjoy the rest of the game, but my local team won 5-2, so all is good in the world. I think from now on I'm just going to start carrying a bag of popcorn with me wherever I go, so I can just like real life that Michael Jackson reaction. So how often do you guys like to hear stories about elements? I like to hear mine. Periodically. Okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry. Today I messed up by letting my girlfriend touch my element and mineral collection. Yeah, what a nerd. He collects the periodic table. Hey man, I don't judge. The periodic table's cool. I like that. You've got to have hobbies. Well, I do. It's not the largest, but contains some of the more interesting rare elements. It sits in a display case in my room. So the screw-up begins when I order the element cobalt. It has to ship from Italy where I get my elements in jars, and it arrived broken. I emailed them and they responded in a very wholesome and Google-translated email saying they would replace the jar. So the jar arrives, and I transfer the cobalt sample from some other storage container into its designated jar. Everyone would be fine if it stays in its jar. My girlfriend is at my house at the time, and I hand it to her to put in the display case, which she spends a while at. I assume she's looking at some of the cooler samples like gold, platinum, or gallium. I think nothing of it. Later on, her hand gets really red and itchy, like really bad. It looks like she stuck her hand into poison ivy. She's in a lot of irritation and some pain, and I think I know the cause. "Did you take the cobalt out of its jar?" "Yeah, I held it and looked at it." I know she did more than that, probably shook it around in her hand or something. For those of you who don't know, cobalt has an effect called contact dermatitis, which basically means you touch it and it makes you really uncomfortable. Once you've had one reaction, you'll most likely develop a lifelong allergy. Cobalt is also known to cause cancer, but only with frequent contact. So now her hand was feeling a bit better, but it looked terrible. There wasn't much anyone could do, so that sucks for her. I had to deal with the fact that I handed her a very toxic metal and didn't tell her. Yay for me. Major muck-up. I'm an idiot. Well, I guess he can add another element to his list now. The element of surprise. Oh god, make him stop, please. Today I messed up by rubbing my butt into a security guard's crotch. Out of habit. Normally students can beep into my school with an ID card. It's RFID and it's pretty reliable, so most people don't take their card out of their wallet or purse, they just hold it near the waist-height reader. Wait for the beep and the turnstile unlocks. I'm a junior and I've been getting into the building the same way for years. I keep my ID card in my back pocket, so I just bump my butt up against the reader and then sidestep through the turnstiles. That sounds a little weird to write, but I promise you, it's easy to do in one smooth motion, and I'm definitely not the only girl who gets in this way. Only issue was today, when the turnstile broke and wouldn't lock. As a temporary fix, the security guard was standing by the turnstile in front of the reader, and we were supposed to have our ID out to show him as we walked in. Coming in at 8 a.m. after years of habit, I was on autopilot. I approached the security guard, and he said, ID? I nodded at him, turned around, and bumped my ass up against his crotch. And then did it again, slower and more forcefully. Obviously I didn't hear the beep, so I guess my brain thought I wasn't close enough to the reader. It took about 2 seconds, and when I felt his crotch against my butt instead of the metal turnstile, I suddenly realized what I was doing. But before I could say anything, he had taken a huge step back and started going, Whoa, miss! I need the ID, please, not a lap dance! And then turned up to the security camera with his hands in the air, like he wanted it on record. He didn't cause this. I tried to explain, but he wasn't willing to listen, telling me to just go in, and that's that. A couple of other students saw me, so I'm waiting for the rumor mill to get back to me. I've done some dumb stuff on autopilot, but this girl's definitely got me beat. Today I messed up by getting blackout drunk. Let's start at the beginning. Last night, my girlfriend and I went out with a few friends. We started the night at a small local bar, having some drinks before going to see a concert later on a few blocks down. By the time we left, I had 2 beers and 2 shots in, and I had a pretty solid buzz going. At the concert, I downed another 3 or 4 beers. I lost count. It was a good time, and I hadn't been out in a while, so I was really enjoying myself. The concert ends and we all part our ways. On the walk back to my girlfriend's car, I black out. When I wake up, my girlfriend is on her hands and knees in the middle of the room with paper towels and toilet paper, yelling at me how there is just piss everywhere. I have no freaking clue what she's talking about and try and get her to explain, but all she keeps saying is that I got it everywhere. Keep in mind, I'm still decently drunk at this point and cannot comprehend anything that is happening. Finally, she starts to tell me that I got out of bed, walked to the bathroom door and grabbed the handle. But then I let the handle go and walked straight back into my room. Let the screw up commence. I start pissing. She assumes that I'm peeing in the trash can that she brought me to puke in, but the sound isn't quite right, so she leans over to have a look. My floor is wetter than a goddamn rainforest. I pissed on the goddamn hardwood floor and all over the side of my bed. She's trying to stop me, but I keep moving away and telling her, Stop. My mum doesn't have a bedsheet. After that, I crawled back into bed, and about 10 or 15 minutes later, I woke up. There's no logical conclusion to this story. I'm still processing it. I'm embarrassed, I'm amused, I'm confused, and part of me wants to burn my house down and never look back. My life from this point on will never be the same. All I have now are memories of my pre-piss days. My girlfriend requests that I tell you that on the 4th of July, she blacked out and peed in our cat's litter box. It looks like we were meant to be. Aw, that's so sweet. Star-crossed lovers joined by their proclivity to piss in places they shouldn't. Today I messed up by not being able to read clear frickin' signals from women. This happened less than an hour ago. So I've been single for 9 years and have hardly dated during that time. Last time I got lucky was 3 years ago. So naturally I've been struggling with self-doubt and a lack of confidence. But still, I've tried. A few weeks ago, I matched with a girl that lives 100 meters from my place. So we started chatting and exchanging Snapchats. We've been texting back and forth for 2 to 3 weeks, and due to our busy schedule, we haven't met yet. Tonight she sent me a Snapchat after her shower, in just her lingerie, and I replied something like, Damn, you look incredible. And I just so happened to take a pic of my beer and food, so she replied, Oh, I think we should drink some beers together tonight. Me being dense as heck, replied, Oh, sorry, that was my last beer. She took a long time replying, but replied, I give up. and removed me from Snapchat. Okay, that one wins the award for the saddest story of 2019. RIP, my dude. Today I messed up by almost getting my brother kicked out of my parents' house over thermal paste. I work in the IT field and have always been handy with computers. Growing up, when I lived in my parents' house, I did computer repair here and there, and often had many computer parts and accessories with me. When I left my parents' house, I ended up leaving a few things behind in my room. My brother was still living with my parents at the time and has been known to dabble in illegal activities, so my mum is already on the paranoid side of things. Fast forward about 2 years and I get a frantic call from my mum. I found a syringe in your room. I think it's for drugs, but your brother keeps lying to me and says it's yours. Do you know anything about this? I ask some leading questions and ask her what my brother said it was. He says it's for your computer, but I know better. Okay, is there any writing on it? Does it have a needle? There's no needle, but there is a company name on the side of it. Okay, well what's the company name, and did you Google it? It says Thermaltech on the side, and when I Google it, all it came up with was computer parts. I know you don't use syringes for computers. Okay, let's walk through this together, okay? 1, you found a syringe, and he said it was for a computer, and it was mine. 2, you Googled the company name, and all you found were computer parts. 3, you found it in my room. 4, you know I work on computers. 5, and there was no needles. It's thermal paste, Mum. It's used to apply a thin layer of paste for heat dispersion on the processor and graphics card. You're screaming at him over thermal paste. If it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, if it swims like a duck, did you ever stop and think that maybe he was just telling the truth? Oh. Click. I give my brother a call to let him know what I just told my mum, and so he can never let her live it down. I've actually been here with my own mum. I used to have little ink bottles as art supplies for school, and she came running upstairs once, waving it in my face, going, Miles, is this drugs? Is this drugs? Are you using drugs? Like, no, Mum, it's ink. I'm way better at hiding my drugs than that. Okay, that's all we've got time for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing. It means a lot. I've been Miles. This has been Tall Tales. I'll see you next time.
Dub 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 doo. This is my new outro song. I made it just for you. Please click on one of these videos or subscribe because I would have made this song for no reason if not.